wouldn't be at all surprised.
Yeah, I hope not. I hope not.
Cool.
Yeah. How have you been?
Have a bit. I can't think when we last spoke.
We spoke in, well, you were I think you were my first podcast actually. So we're talking October, November probably last year.
Well, I've had my first jab. My second one coming up. My wife's had both. She's a little bit older than me. But she had no ill effect, but my jab, blimey, the next day, I felt like I'd been beat up by about 12 blokes with iron bars.
Yeah.
But apparently that's actually your body telling you the stuff's working. So.
Oh, really? Because my wife's really poorly. She had it on Monday and she's been poorly. She's been poorly since, actually.
I was whacked out for about 10 days. Absolutely off my cigarettes. It's a really, really bad sign.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, it was hell. Absolute hell.
Yeah.
But it seems that it's either no effect or virtually no effect or a real wallop.
Yeah.
A real wallop.
Yeah. So now I just wanted to have a catch up with you really and see how everything's going and stuff. You're obviously still the managing director of Ace Cafe, aren't you?
Yeah.
So I just want to see how that's going and reopening and what you've been doing during lockdown and how you've been keeping yourself busy and all that sort of stuff really, and talk about the clubs that are coming in or planning to come in when you reopen. So what have you been doing since lockdown?
Blimey, it's like never-ending chasing circles all through lockdown.
Yeah.
Because much of that time, the place has still been operating, albeit takeaway only.
Okay.
And we've been quite fortunate in that there's lots of building works and whatnot going on in the immediate environs around the cafe. So that clearly has helped in terms of a business. There's customers, that been a few customers about, and then it's been quite a major undertaking to reopen, because of course it's all your fridges and ordering stuff and all the rest of it. And that's all looked after by colleagues and the team. It's also revisiting partners, people we've hosted, the bike clubs, the car clubs, are all clamouring to get out and meet up with like-minded, as it were. So there's been a lot of correspondence on that sort of regard. And putting it sort of simply, it might be, I'll say, Club X that typically meet on the last Saturday in January each year. Well, that couldn't happen this year. So those meets, then the organisers then want to find other dates. So it's a constant shuffling around on diary, trying to fathom who can fit where into the cafe's diary of the meets and whatnot.
Yeah. So a lot of the clubs coming back. They booked up, or?
Oh yeah. Everybody who's, I'm saying, into motors basically can't wait to get out and use them.
Yeah.
So people, it seems to me, are longing to get out, whether it's with us or at Santa Pod or Brands Hatch or whatever it is.
Yeah.
People want to get out, use the vehicle, and I might be showing my own sort of prejudices here, and brag. My paint job, my motor, better than anybody else's and all the rest of it.
I bet you've heard that in your lifetime with the Ace Cafe.
Sure, I'm part and parcel of it, ain't I?
Oh yeah,
I'm part and parcel of it.
What was the last thing you bragged about down there? What did you have down there that you had from your own collection or your own?
Oh my goodness. Bragging points. What's the bragging point? I guess that the take of recent times, we've although we've got better weather today as we're speaking today, is that is a lovely clean motor, mate. And indeed it would be, whether it's be a car or a bike, where my bike is really, really rather filthy. And of course I'm then bragging that I ride come what may, whatever the
Yeah.
weather, as it were.
Yeah.
I don't always let on that I'm only live 3 miles away. I'm not living 33 miles away. Where
Yeah.
clearly, if it was piddling down with rain and it's a 33-mile ride, you might think long and hard about getting on a bike to ride that. But when it's just up the road, nah, it's not an issue.
Yeah. And have you still got your Triumph? Is it a Triumph you've still got?
Yes, yeah. Triumph Street Triple.
Have you still been on? Have you been out on that then?
Oh yeah.
That's your daily transport, is it?
It is indeed. It is indeed.
Wow.
I love it to bits, and just wish we were allowed to give it head, as it were, to open it up. But
live
in a world of speed limits, cameras, and all the rest of it.
Yeah. So there's not been any car meets or anything at your place at all.
Not there won't be until that all changes on, I think it's May 17 from the top of my head. It's the it's following the government route map. They published their route map out of lockdown on the 22nd of, was it March? I think it was March. Might have been February.
I think it was 27 March.
But it's following that. There's permutations and whatnot, but it's following that. So from 17th, we look 17th of May, we look forward to hosting meets once again. And of course, at that stage, it'll only be outside the cafe. You still can't come into the premises according to the rules.
Yeah.
It's, beg your pardon, no, what am I saying? You can't come into the premises at the moment. Beg your pardon, I've got that wrong. At the moment, we still do takeaway, and we can host people in our gazebos out in the car park, so people can sit down there.
Yeah.
But you can't come into the building. From May 17, you can come into the building, and we can host the meets once again.
Okay. So because I think I saw on Instagram there was a car meet. I'm sure it was illegal, and I'm sure you wasn't to do with it, but it was at the Ace Cafe. I don't know whether he was closed and they just met in a car park or.
There's been loads of that sort of thing where people have because people want to meet up. I get it, even though the rules, COVID stuff says otherwise. People chopping a bit, and largely youngsters. They're meeting up, car parks here, car parks there, and that is included. By the Ace, even when we were actually completely shut, that has happened. Not the best of ideas, because you obviously run the potential of getting COVID and winding up in hospital, which is not really the ideal.
So if I want to come to the cafe on a night where, I don't know, BMW Club meet or Triumph Motorcycles meet up, how is it controlled? Because obviously there's illegal meets outside and people racing up and down. I've seen people wheels spinning everywhere and doing all that crazy stuff. And don't get me wrong, I like seeing that, right? But it has to be in a controlled environment, as in at Santa Pod or something like that, rather than just on the street where there's other cars going up and down. I don't like putting people's lives in danger. So would that go on with when the BMW Club meet up or Triumph Club meet up? Does that happen, or is it more controlled, and who controls it?
Well, I kind of get I recognise what you're describing for sure.
Yeah.
But I can only sort of come back, as it were, in a rather different way, and I'll start with the premises, the premises and car park license premises, blah blah blah. So we'll host meets indeed, whether it's as you've remarked, BMW, M-Power and all that, AMG, Yamaha Day, Triumph Day, the bikes and all that kind of stuff. Anybody can come to the cafe, but coming into our car park depends on the vehicle. So BMW, using that as an example, or I'll say German night, actually. German night, the monthly German meet, that's BMW and Mercedes. So if you turn up in a Ford, no. You park somewhere else and wander in, for sure. but
Yeah.
no, it's German night. Having
Yeah.
said that, German night is not VAG. VAG have got their own night because there's so much VAG, which I'm sure I don't have to tell you all the different things that fall under the VAG umbrella.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we manage the space in accord with the vehicles that we're hosting. That's how we manage our space.
Yeah.
Now, coming to the carriageway, and clearly with the passage of time, legislation changes.
Yeah.
And certainly has changed, as do social mores. The attitudes of society change.
Yeah.
And by and large, we're living in a society which is aging. So typically, when you're sort of, I'll say, a teen into your 20s, you're thinking about today, tomorrow, the excitement, adrenaline, all that. And tomorrow, that's as far as it goes. It won't be next week, it'll be tomorrow. Whereas as you go through the years, your perspectives change.
Yeah.
So when society is made up of huge demographic that is overwhelmingly young, I'm calling the social mores are different from a society where the overwhelming demographic is old. When you're old, oh, that's dangerous, you shouldn't be doing that. Oh, this is good for you, you should be taking more of that. So all our laws are shaped by the larger demographic, and in essence today it's all about safety, health, etc. Now, whether it's right or good and all rest, that's a different conversation, but my observation is society is shaped by the large patterns, that demographic. So what was once deemed as perfectly normal as youngsters back in the day, racing around the North Circular, that is no longer acceptable. Society's brought in legislation and powers that to put an end to that. Arguably not a bad thing. And the challenge for us is, as ACE, is we can manage our space, and we have responsibilities in law to do that, whether it's licensed premises, simply as licensed premises. The real challenge is, as you remarked, is what goes on outside. To that end, clearly we have to work with the local authorities, the police and the council and all that. Having said that, it's blindingly obvious, really, if you look at again our social habits. People typically don't go out and for the laugh, I say, and get pissed and all the rest of it on a Tuesday night. That's Friday night. Friday nights, for forever, as it were, have always been a bit of a headache when it's lots of young getting together and showing off and all out trying to outdo each other, and that is a dynamic that clearly we have to manage as well.
So do you get those sorts of people turning up to the cafe then on the Friday night? Youngsters.
What I'm getting at is Friday night is all about going out with your mates and having a yeehaw. That was a laugh, and of course with vehicles, you can have problems come about. People will bin it and stuff it into walls and into other motors and stuff. So it can be a challenge, but it's inherent in society, basically.
Yeah. And do the police and the local council work with you quite well? They're
for sure.
Yeah.
Again, things change over years, and certainly the local authority, which is Brent Council, have been brilliant from day one. With policing, that on occasion has been challenged with how police change. And that's a mix of both legislation to an extent, and also how police are structured and who's paying for policing.
Sure.
To sort of illustrate, as it were, you've got traffic division.
Yes.
Which has just been for the last 50 years or more. Parked. I say parked. Their headquarters just up the road at Alperton. Not a police station. That was their traffic division Northwest or whatever it was called. And traffic cops typically into their bikes, into their cars.
Yeah.
They've become into the ace. I wouldn't say on a daily basis, but almost on a daily basis, wandering around the motors, looking under bonnets and swapping notes just as anybody else who's into motors, as it were, would.
Yeah, yeah. Do you want to say hello? Say hello. Say hello.
Are you doing all right?
He said, are you doing all right? Are you okay? Yeah, say hello to Mark. Say hello.
That's good to see you. I'm trying to work out your shirt. I can see it's like the old St. George's cross, but there's something on the background. I'm trying to work out the shape and what's going on.
Show him your top.
Oh, it's a lion. Lion with its mouth open, isn't it?
Lion with its mouth open. Yeah, it says England.
That's it.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I used to have teeth a bit like that lion, but I was at the dentist yesterday, so I've got the new ones put in. I'm one of the few people who've got more teeth now than I had before COVID.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I've just taken out the headphones. So Mark just said he had teeth like that, and now he hasn't because he's been to the dentist. Yeah. Yeah, you're gonna go downstairs and be a good boy while Daddy does a podcast. Yeah, so it's good that the clubs are coming back though, because you're one of the places I want to come and hang out. I was hoping to do a car review with Ace Cafe in the background. I don't know whether I can do it from your car park. I might try and do a car review down there.
That I'm sure that'll be doable. It's just the date and time. It's working out. You know, for instance, if you're doing a review, I'll say on a Bentley, it don't come down on. It can't be done on a Friday. It's a bike night. You know what I mean, it's
Yeah, I know.
it's as I've already remarked to you. It's about the diary. It's about the diary.
Yeah, and the diary's online, isn't it? You can see who's coming, who's not.
Yes.
Yeah. Because you're one of the only. I mean, there are other places that are doing car meets, but none that close to me. I think you're the closest. I think.
Well, typically, it's that we can go to Santa Pod, we can go to Brands Hatch, doing these different, follow our interest.
Yeah.
Track days or go watch Formula One or whatever. We can pursue it. But when you come from that, I'm going to say, mass event type thing, big event things, there's then this huge gap of pretty much nothing else other than a car park at the back of a pub somewhere or a supermarket where you know what I mean, there's nothing in between. And I guess we're I don't know about unique, because there are other places now dotted around the country doing similar sort of stuff, but I think we're the first sort of to embrace it as that's what we're about.
I think you are. You are. Yeah, no, definitely. You're definitely the first. Because I think you've been going since 1930s, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, we had this.
Similarly, although it's a bit more of a challenge, is more a little bit. I'll say more different. A lot of tech involved, sound systems, all the rest of it. Similarly with music, you've got all your O2s and your Albert Halls and your all these big festivals and that. But so many of the pubs have disappeared, which would have halls and host gigs. All that sort of middle size. So many of the middle size and smaller venues have disappeared. So it's just perhaps a little act in a band in a bar somewhere now. And again, we're almost as though we're sort of like almost the last man standing, where we're able to host live music.
Yeah, well, that's the beauty of your place, isn't it? Where you can go and see cars, motorbikes, a live band, and have some food, isn't it? And do you serve alcohol as well, or is it just? Yeah, you do. Yeah,
licensed premises.
Yeah, no, that's good. So, going forward, what are you looking forward to then? What's the big events you're looking forward to? What can you tell us about?
Well, check our website. What's on pages? It's what you're into basically.
Yeah.
From modified Scoobies through to classic cars like Jensen Interceptors and all
Yeah.
that. It's pretty much the entire spectrum of motors is
Yeah.
pretty much covered in that diary. But
Yeah.
certainly one of the, in terms of our big annual events, our annual reunion, which is basically a bike-based theme.
Yeah.
This year's the 27th reunion.
Yeah.
And it's 20 years since the cafe fully reopened.
Mm-hmm.
And when it fully reopened, it was part of the reunion that year of 2001. And that, up until last year, has always involved on the Sunday of that weekend, the first weekend in September, a ride from the CAF down to Brighton, where there's a road closure, Madeira Drive, the seafront road closure, and it's our event, it's reunion down on Brighton seafront. But of course, it didn't happen last year with COVID.
Mm.
We're planning it again with the council for this year. The big unknowns, of course, with it are where there's going to be need for, I'm trying to think what it's called now, but like they've been running these sort of trial events, whether it's at football or sort of nightclub type things. You don't know whether you're going to have people, vaccine passports and all that sort of stuff. That's all unknown yet. Which for us to deliver that on the seafront at Brighton, that could be a real challenge. Again, basically because people turn up on bikes with crash helmets and gloves on, so to get out of your vaccine passport, as it were, that would be quite a challenge.
Surely, if you've got all that gear on, you don't need a vaccine passport. You're not going to pass anything to anyone through a helmet, are you?
I would doubt it through a helmet, but the thing is, to come on the seafront, you get on the seafront and then you park up and wander about. So it's some of the unknowns there. But we hope that will be going ahead this year as per pre-pandemic.
Yeah, hopefully. So you do road trips as well as you do little road trips like that, do you?
Yeah, we each year in pre-pandemic, we did 3 bike ones, Southend, Margate and Brighton, and 1 car one called Incarnation, Brighton. And that typically is in the spring of the year, a Saturday, road closure down on the seafront there.
Yeah.
Basically a kind of a show and shine, everything under the sun on the seafront with a stage and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
And again, that couldn't go ahead last year, and of course it hasn't been able to go ahead this year.
Ah, okay.
So we hope that will go ahead again next year.
Yeah, well, hopefully. That sounds amazing. I love doing that. I love going to the seafront and they close off some of the roads and you just see like classic cars sitting there. You can walk around, have an ice cream, see the sea and see some nice classic cars. I've only ever by chance seen that sort of stuff though. Where was I last year? I think it was a year before actually. We were in Margate, I think, and they closed the seafront, just the main bit on the main section of the seafront. That's it. There was a bunch of cars. There was Escort Mexicos, there were classic Jensens, there were Ford Cosworths, there were Vauxhall Astra GTEs, Rolls Royces, you name it. There was a whole, and all the scooters between, and all the Triumphs and MV Agustas and Ducatis, everything there. And I loved it. I just thought, this is great. I just started to walk up and down, and I randomly talk to people. It's in my nature, so I just start chatting to people about what they own.
If you're in London basically and it's nice weather, you want to go to the seaside. Yeah,
definitely.
It's not a hard sell. It's not a hard sell.
No, it's not. I often go up down Hyde Park, down to Dorchester, past the Savoy, past the Ritz hotels, and have a look what they got in their car parks there. Normally they've got really nice, especially the Dorchester. Have you ever been past there recently?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
I hadn't stopped to think of it as you're reflecting on it now. But nice stuff out there.
Yeah. And then there's another road down in Kensington where there's a cafe where I sometimes I'll finish work and I'll go there and have a coffee, and I'll sit on the side of the road outside the cafe, order a cappuccino, and just watch all basically the most expensive cars in the world will drive past you within 5 minutes.
Mhm.
You know, and what I've noticed now is you get a lot of influencers, car classic car and supercar influencers with their cameras. They're only teenagers. They're
Okay.
driving around. They're riding around on their bikes, looking at cars and taking pictures of them, and putting them on Instagram. But no, it's interesting. Definitely that. Hopefully, we don't get no more lockdowns, and we can come down and visit your venue, because your venue is very. I'm sure you're aware of it. Your venue is very special. I don't know anywhere else like it, and you've got them all over the world now, haven't you?
There are a number of other ones. Yeah, there's in Beijing, in China,
Yeah,
Finland. Goodness me, trying to think now.
You've got USA, haven't you? USA.
Yeah, that's what I was coming to. One in Orlando is gigantic.
Yeah,
It makes the Ace in North London look like a broom cupboard.
really.
It is absolutely enormous.
Mm.
But then that's America. You know, you have steak and chips out there. Huh? I've got to eat all that.
Yeah.
It's America.
Yeah.
What it shows basically, or underlines, is that there's this common interest. If you're into motors, you can be into motors anywhere in the world, and you want to meet up and talk the talk, as it were, and swap notes. It's common interest.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've got some great guests lined up over the next few months, and I'm talking about people from Shanghai to India to Poland, Mexico, you name it. They're all classic car people. They all love cars. They all either make cars or they modify cars, or they just drive them. You know. And that's what I'm trying to do here. I'm trying to reach out to people who love classic cars and motorbikes and mopeds and scooters and anything really, anything that moves, even steam trains, to be honest.
Well, that's the mad thing is that the Beijing Ace, it's in once upon a time, the area it's in Beijing was once a gigantic industrial or gigantic factory, sort of built in the 50s, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And it's now in that same area. It's kind of like an arts place mixed with, you've got Ducati there, you've got Audi, you've got Volkswagen. It's quite a sort of unusual mix of stuff there, and a fantastic old industrial buildings, basically. But these premises, you look at it, there's this steam locomotive with carriages behind it, which I can say, you know, I'm not Chinese, but in my Western head, look at that. It's the rock and roll train. It's just mad. There's this thing parked there. You mentioned steam trains. Ace Beijing, they've got one.
Yeah. Oh, bloody hell. Have you been there? Have you been to the Ace Cafe?
Yeah. Oh, if you go online, you can find photos of it, and you'll see this train. It's incredible. It's all black, and like a lot of sort of steam trains around the world, the rims of the wheels are painted white. So it's quite a striking presence, this thing.
Yeah. Oh, wow. So what's the plans for this year, this coming year then? Like what hopefully, if there's no lockdowns, we're just going to continue as we were prior, or what? Like
that's pretty much it. We look forward to being able to pick up from where we left off, basically. You know, there's no wheel to be reinvented or anything. For sure. I expect there'll be subtle changes as time passes by, whereby more electric vehicles around. So we've hosted for some years now Electric Vehicle Day, although that's fallen foul of the lockdown, unfortunately. But there'll be more and more, I have no doubt, electric vehicle things,
Mm.
be they bike or be they car. So there'll be changes as there are in the rest of society. But in essence, yes, it's picking up from where we left off.
Yeah. So have you got electric charge points there? Have you?
Yeah.
Oh, you have, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I can't think what they're called. There's I can't remember what they're called. But if you go on I think it's called the Zap map.
Mm.
You can just click on to that, and you can find where your charge points are, and we're one of those. Yeah, the NW10. I
Okay.
think the nearest other one to us is down at IKEA.
Yeah. Okay. And what's your feeling on electric cars?
Well, they're here, and there's going to be more of them.
But do you think that? I mean, I think classic cars are always going to be here, aren't they? They're never going to just delete them all and get rid of them.
I don't know. They won't just get binned, but I'll liken it to horses. Once upon a time, the horses was ubiquitous, absolutely ubiquitous, and people have them or had them to ride, to pull their carriages, to pull their carts, to pull their stables everywhere. People involved in the businesses of supplying forage and all that. And of course, London was once packed with horses.
Yeah.
Key means of transport. Well, they've all gone.
Yeah.
But you still get people who are into horses. I'm say at two sort of levels. You've got your high. You've got people who own and race horses, and people in their thousands go to watch them. And then you've got people at the other end of the spectrum who indulge their interest with horses and keep a horse somewhere in fields around London and all that. So the same will happen with motor vehicles. That it seems to me that eventually the internal combustion engine ones will, I'll say, not disappear, but that there'll be special places where you can see them and enjoy them, and there'll be people trying to keep them on the road while they can. But there'll be a whole new lot of vehicles come in, electric powered, or I don't know, photon powered, or whatever it'll be. I don't know. But of course, people will then go, well, mine's better than yours, mine's faster than yours, got a better paint job, or the material it's made from is lighter than yours. The dynamics of society will still continue as they always have done.
Yeah.
I mean, thinking again about horses and that, the Rome back in days of Roman Empire, they had problems with youngsters racing their horses and their chariots through the city. So it's no different from someone in the older Empire Beamer and the AMG giving it welly today. It's the same social mores basically driving it.
Yeah. No, I know what you're saying. It's really weird because I was talking with some guys about electric cars, and it seems it's a mindset change for a lot of us petrol heads, where you got the government saying by 2030 we're going to have electric cars, and we're only going to sell electric cars, and then me going in my head, I'm thinking out loud now. I'm going, no, I don't want an electric car. I want a combustion engine. I want a combustion. I want to hear and feel and smell the petrol. You know what I mean? And then now, this is fast forward 3 or 4 weeks. I'm thinking, actually, we could have one electric car in the house, and we can have one petrol car. It won't be a problem as long as I can switch to electric whenever I want to. So I'm starting to come around to the idea of electric cars are probably going to be the future. Although saying that, I'm hearing that electric cars can't be sustained if everybody drives them. I mean, if everybody drives them, the infrastructure won't be able to cope. Not as it is now, but also not in 2030. Apparently, we won't be ready. This is what I'm reading. I don't know.
There's a whole host of unknowns, as you're saying there, but for sure we know that the, if you like, political decision has been made
Mm.
I'll say save the planet. We've got to stop. I should stop smoking. We've got to
Yeah.
stop polluting, etc., etc. So you know that this kind of decision's been taken, whether it's going to happen 2030 or 2050 or whatever. Yeah, sure, there's different time scales and all the rest of it from different countries, and different politicians say this, but the writing's on the wall. And the way I sort of come to think of it, it is, I love toast. Yeah, I really, really enjoy toast, whether it's egg on toast, cheese on toast, sardines on toast, marmite on toast,
Yeah.
honey on toast. You all these permutations of toast.
Yeah.
And if you've got a fireplace, the old fire there, you cut off this slice of crusty bread, stick it on a fork, and you hold it in the fire. It's a lovely thing to go with. You've seen you got a little lad there. It's a lovely sort of family thing you can do, sat around a fire, toast, doing bits of toast like that. However, you get up, I don't know, 6:30, got to be at work, 8:00, blah, 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 switch the kettle on, take a slice of bread out of the pack, drop it in the toaster, boom, there's your toast. You don't have to go for this whole palaver. But once in a while, that whole palaver is a thoroughly enjoyable experience, but not a daily thing. The ease and convenience of the toaster and already pre-sliced bread it is its attraction. And I know, and that's ultimately why horses went out and the motor vehicle came in.
Yeah.
Ease of it all. And the same will be the case with electric or hydrogen or whatever else they'll come up with. There'll be, I'll say, you and I say, oh God, it used to be great. We used to stand at the old pump and smell the fumes and putting the squirt in. And everything. What's he on about? You just plug it in.
Because you can't get 4-star anymore, can you? Or can you? Not 4-star.
I think it can, but it's not the same as it once was.
Yeah, because I remember
putting more ethanol in it. I think it's the chemical.
What was before 4-star then? Was it leaded?
Petrol used to be leaded, but there were different grades of petrol.
Yeah,
and for sure. But today there's no lead in petrol.
Yeah.
Because of the harmful effects of lead poison. You can be poisoned. Lead is a killer.
Yeah.
And they've replaced it with whatever. But they've also increasingly using ethanol in the fuel, and I think is basically produced by from corn, which seems to me a bit of a waste when people are hungry. Whole crops have been grown to turn into ethanol to stick to mix in with petrol.
Yeah,
mad that bit, but hey ho.
Because when I mean, I've got a 93 Mini, and that's all right on unleaded. But prior to that, I mean, you're talking about like pre-war cars and things like that. Are they all right on unleaded? Can you put unleaded petrol in those cars? I don't know.
Well, I believe you still can get whatever the mix it was that was leaded, but not with lead. But that's all to do with metals. The metals that we have today are vastly superior to the metals and alloys available years past. So I think it's to do with valves primarily and valve seats. We can now treat them, and you put hardened materials on those seats so they don't damage, which is where lead enabled the use of the poorer quality metals of years past of the materials from which engines were made. But with the passage of time, materials have improved enormously, and they reckon that's where the biggest leaps have been made in technology of recent times is with materials, be it carbon fibre.
Listen, Mark, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. I just wanted to ask you one question before we go. What would you give advice to a 13-year-old Mark Wilsmore about? It could be about life and just trying to get motivated in your teens. What would you have told a 13-year-old?
Life is only as good as what you put into it.
Yeah. Okay.
Nothing is easy.
Yeah.
And keep going for it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, Mark, tell the people where they can find you on social media.
Yeah, well, Ace Cafe London, we've got a website,
Mm.
and that lists all what's on. There's Facebook, obviously, Ace Cafe London.
Yeah.
Twitter page, Instagram. I think that's it.
Yeah.
We're across social media, but you have to check them because there's so many out there. I'm gonna say fans who set up sort of Ace tribute this and that kind of pages. But drill down. Yeah, we're on Facebook, we're on Insta, we're on Twitter.
Yeah.
And the horse's mouth is really the website for what's on. And if you don't know where to find us, again on the website, just click on how to find us. Boom, there it is. The map will come up.
Yeah. Okay. Well, hope to see you this year soon. Are you down the Ace Cafe? Do you spend a lot of time down here?
Well, through pandemic, I've not much time down there at all. But yes, once we start coming back into life again, for sure I'll be down there because I want to see what the motors are like as much as anything, and talk the rubbish that I've so enjoyed talking with people who are into it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, thanks for your time today, Mark, and apologies about this little man here.
No need to apologise. No need to apologise. I'm jealous of the t-shirt.
Yeah. Come and say bye to Mark. Say bye.
Hopefully we'll see you at the Ace as well.
Yeah, definitely. We'll bring him along, won't we? Yeah. All right, Mark. Take care, all right? Have a good day, all right? Thank you, man. Cheers.